From what I remember, in Northwest Washington, we were surrounded by Jewish people. There must have been at least 5 synagogues, conservative, Orthodox. It was just a wonderful area to grow up. It was considered very safe, and we would walk to synagogue every Friday night. I don't think I ever missed going to shul. And my best friend growing up was Bluma Friedman. Her father was the cantor of B'nai Israel on 16th Street. She's still one of my best friends. She lives in New York. But her parents were Holocaust survivors, and that was my second home. My father was very protective of me, I guess because he was an immigrant, and he hovered over his children, but he allowed me to spend my time at Bluma's house, which I did. Her father was from Czechoslovakia, and he was one of the greatest cantors I've ever heard. I mean, to this day, I can still hear his booming barrel chest voice. And it was through synagogue that I learned to sing. I wanted to be a cantor, actually. But back then, girls weren't cantors. So one Friday night, the cantor thought, oh my God, this must be my daughter Bluma singing Adon Olam, and all these beautiful songs. Well, it turned out it was me. So I learned how to sing, really, in synagogue. And so that was my second home. It was just such a pleasant upbringing. And so we celebrated all the holidays. We just, Tu B'Shvat, and I remember eating the Wexler, this hard candy. I don't know if you've ever tasted it. And we would spend Sukkos. We would have this beautiful big structure. I mean, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous synagogue. I still remember the seats were maroon. You would walk in and there would be a feeling of awe. It was these crushed velvet maroon seats. It was, really a traditional big, big synagogue. I think there was an upstairs section. It wasn't a huge section for women because, as I said, we sat together. But it was a huge sanctuary. And then there would be a separate chapel for the junior congregation, which, of course, I would go to. I went to Hebrew classes there. They had a big, big, big sukkah. And they had a great big social hall. But the thing is, when you would walk into the synagogue in the front, you had to walk up many, many steps. And you'd see the big, big Jewish star on the front of the building. And even walking inside, there was in the foyer, there was just a beautiful big area, again with another Jewish star. But the amazing thing was during the 60s, we would shul hop. So even though we had moved out of DC at that point, people would go back and congregate on those big steps leading into the synagogue. You didn't even have to go to shul at that point. Everybody would hang out in the front and congregate. There were some really, really good times. But still, when I drive by 16th Street, I still remember those memories of having tuna fish on a Saturday morning for Kiddush, and just those wonderful times as a little kid running, throughout the shul. I'm not sure that kids experience that anymore like we did back then.